Hey everyone, hope you had a good New Year's. I started mine by ordering Transformers Animated Series 1 and Robots in Disguise Volume 1 because that's how I roll. So, today I thought I'd do this video, and this is actually the second time recording this because the bloody camera kept messing up last time. As it's New Year, I'm going to have a look back at last year's figure subscription service toys. And then quick little preview look ahead to this year's coming toys. So first up we got Scourge, who is a sort of black, red and teal redeco of an Optimus Prime, I think released in the United line, who himself was a homage to the original Laser Prime. But this is Scourge from Robots in Disguise, which admittedly I don't know a lot about that series. So I can't tell you much about him, other than he turns into this very nice black truck. Reminds me a bit of the film Duel, with the old sinister-looking truck chasing Dennis Weaver across America in his little Plymouth car. Be nice if this had like an oil tanker trailer on the back. That would look pretty cool. Because I think some of the Scourge toys do come with that, but obviously this is just the cab. There was a slight issue with this one on packaging. The smokestacks, you can see, have lost a little bit of paint at the top, and basically this was because where they packaged them they didn't put any padding on the top of the toy, so it just rubbed against the cardboard of the packaging, which was a bit rubbish. But suppose that's a factory issue, and that will be addressed for next year's toys. But yeah, he's a nice little truck. So let's have a look at the robot mode. And there we go, it's robot mode. Transformation's okay. Going back into truck mode can be a bit fiddly at times. There's a few bits that are a bit finicky in how they line up. But yeah, he comes out in this rather nice looking robot mode. And he's got a pretty cool head sculpt. Some decent light piping. You have to get the right angle on this for it to work very well. It doesn't seem to catch the natural light very well. I always thought it didn't actually work when I first got it. It was like that. But if you get the light on it at just the right angle, then it's pretty nice. Sword is formed from the trailer hookup. So that's, you know, a bit of weapon storage, and that looks pretty nice with the light shining through it as well. See if we can get in on that. There we go. That's pretty cool. He's a bit short compared to some of the toys in this series, but it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world really. It just with being a Prime kind of figure, I thought he'd be a bit taller, but evidently not. But other than that, you know, he's quite nice. He's pretty poseable. He's got good articulation. All of these come with a bio card as well, with some nice artwork and tech specs, and then a little bit of bio. Feel free to read that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that was Scourge, who was the very first month. We received him in the June. We were supposed to get him back in January, but there was a mix-up with the factory who thought these toys were to do with BotCon, so there was a massive delay and no one really knew what was going on, but apparently that's all been sorted for next time. We shall see. So yeah, let's look at month 2. So July brought us this little beauty. This is Slipstream, who's based on the Transformers Prime first edition Starscream mould, but with a significantly different paint job, obviously. Really nice purple and metallic green. I don't know how well that's going to come out on this camera, but it's got a nice sort of metal flake in it. Looks really nice. Now, I'm quite critical of Transformer jets normally, because normally there's a lot of kibble on the underside of the jet, which kind of, you know, normally they'll look really good from this side, and then you turn them over and they look hideous. But this one actually is very, very clean underneath. I mean, you've got the legs folded up underneath, but they hug the fuselage pretty well. And other than that, there's nothing really showing underneath at all, really. Not even the front profile is that spoiled by the underside, which is normally a problem. I mean, I quite like the Transformers Prime Dreadwing, but the kibble underneath kind of really ruined the profile of the jet. But this one they've done a really good job of. I think that looks absolutely superb. Probably the best example of a Transformers plane I can think of off the top of my head. I can't think of a better one than this. Really like this one. Wasn't one I was particularly looking forward to, but once it arrived, it would become sort of a bit of a favourite, really. So let's go and have a look at the robot mode. And here we have the robot mode, and you can see here the only difference between this and the original mould is the head sculpt, which is very nice. The transformation on this is actually really good. Very enjoyable transformation, very intuitive. You know, you won't find yourself thinking, "Oh, how do I do this bit? How do I do this bit?" It just seems to flow nicely. So not only is it a nice piece to look at, because the paint job really does work nicely on this, but it's also a very good toy as well. The only thing that's really lacking is some light piping. You can see the eyes are just painted in on this one. That's literally the only thing I can find, you know, that I would think would improve this figure at all. Slight mistransformation as well. If you're familiar with the original, you know that he sort of has this sort of bit of a hunchback look, much like he does obviously in the cartoon. But this is like an official mistransformation on the back. It keeps the back straighter, and so you don't have that hunched over look, so she looks a bit more feminine, really, I suppose. The only downside is in here you get a little bit of a gap between the piece that forms like the neck and mounts the head, but you know, that's not really that noticeable. So yeah, this was a really pleasant surprise actually. For one I wasn't too fussed about when I first signed up. It actually turned out to be one of the best figures from the whole set, really. And there's her bio card. I didn't think the artwork on this one was quite as good, but yeah, still pretty nice all the same. Next up we got Circuit. Now this is the one I was probably least looking forward to from the initial pictures anyway. It's based on an old Action Master figure, and I think that's the only time he's ever appeared in any toy lines. So he's never had a vehicle mode before, but in that Action Master line he was a repaint of AXA, or Axor, I can never remember which one of the two it is. But that's what they've done again here. Really. This is a repaint of, I think it's Hunt for the Decepticons AXA, which was a slight remould and repaint of, I think it's animated Lockdown. So yeah, what we end up with is this kind of like Mad Max type car, which itself is not bad, I quite like it. The paint scheme is incredibly sort of neon, garish, hideously puke-inducing concoction. But the only thing I do like of the paint job is this big silver Autobot badge on the front there. That's quite nice. Other than that, I'm not keen on this colour scheme at all, and I think that's what was putting me off to begin with, certainly. Let's have a look at the robot mode then. And next up we got Breakdown, who is a repaint of the G2 version they did at BotCon a few years back, but this is also the same mould used for the Sideswipe, Sunstreaker and Red Alert Generations toys, or classics, or whatever series they're from. I can never remember which ones are which. But yeah, so he's this Lamborghini, and he's a very good representation of his G1 self, even down to actually the sort of off-centre Decepticon logo there at the front. He's got this engine block on the top, which is, you know, comes off very, very easily. Not sure if that's intentional or not, but it doesn't seem to stay in place very well. I don't know if that's the norm on these moulds or whether it's just my one. But yeah, other than that, he's got a decent amount of paint on him. For once on a car, we've got the tail section all painted out with the lights and everything, so that doesn't happen too often. And as a nod to G1, there's a rub symbol there on the top, and it does work, as you can see. Another thing I like is the weapon storage, with the gun here being stored as the twin exhaust. It's quite a nice little touch. Alloys are all nicely painted on the wheels as well. You don't often see the wheels painted these days, so it's nice to have those done as well. So they've not been skimpy with the paint on these. So now we'll have a look at the robot mode. There we go. There's the robot mode. Transformation's fairly straightforward. The arms can be a bit fiddly, getting to rotate into the right position to fold them out. But other than that, it's pretty good. Head sculpt's nice. Again, no light piping, unfortunately. The gun looks a bit weedy, really, for his size. But then I suppose all the combiner limbs back in G1 tended to have quite small guns for their robot forms. I do like the way the head reveals as well, with the twisting, turning the head down and then, you know, popping it up. That's quite a neat little gimmick. Yeah, he's a nice figure. He's nothing spectacular, but then he's not bad either. He's kind of in the middle of the road really with these ones. There's some really nice ones. There's at least one that's not great, and but yeah, this one kind of sits nicely in the middle. Yeah, I like him. There's the bio for Breakdown, and his tech specs and artwork, very nice. I like the fact they've put plenty of paint on him, and he looks a lot like his Generation 1 counterpart. So I think they've done a good job on this one. It's not the most exciting mould in the world, but for this one it serves its purpose. So yeah, nice solid figure. Penultimate toy in the series was this. This is Jackpot, and he's from the animated Jazz mould, but obviously with a completely different paint scheme, and he gets a new head sculpt as well. Nice Autobot logo on the front. I do like these kind of high wings at the back with the lights. It kind of gives it almost like a bit of a Batmobile appearance to it. We've seen a few toys this year, well last year, with that kind of almost Batmobile type look to them, with the Veercons in Transformers Prime as well. But this is basically almost like a caricature Batmobile because of being from an animated toy. But yeah, it's quite nice. Again, we've got the wheels painted in, the alloys. Some nice clear red plastic windscreens and headlights, and those tail lights again. So yeah, they've really done quite a good job of putting a decent amount of paint on these toys. So yeah, let's look at this one in robot mode. There we go. There's a look at the new head sculpt on this one. This is another one with a very simple transformation. In fact, this is probably the easiest figure to transform of the lot. It just kind of opens out as pretty much you'd expect. Nothing particularly technical or clever about this one. It just, it's nice and simple, does what it needs to do. It's a very good likeness to the old Action Master toy, which is based on. He does have one little gimmick in this mode, and these side exhausts can pop off, and they become a set of nunchucks for him to sort of wave about. Yeah, decent articulation. He's got, bends pretty much everywhere. The head's on a ball joint, all that kind of usual stuff. There we go. There's Jackpot's bio card. Do like the artwork for this one with his big cheesy grin there. This is another one I wasn't expecting too much out of, but it was better than I was expecting. I've put this slightly ahead of the Breakdown. Probably not as good as the Slipstream. About just slightly behind the Scourge maybe. But yeah, solid figure. Really like this one. And then lastly we got the one a lot of us were looking forward to, myself included. And I predicted it would be the last one we get as well, and it came true. But this is Ultra Mammoth, and he is a repaint of the big convoy and Neo convoy from is it Beast Wars 2 or Beast Wars Neo? I never really know much about those lines, so I'm not really completely sure. He's a bit of a shell former, so he's covered in quite a few panel lines, which kind of gives him a bit of a jigsaw appearance. But he's not too bad. I've seen worse. He's got a few gimmicks in this mode, although they're not particularly interesting. We've got this lever on the top of the head there, and if you pull that, it raises the trunk, like so. It's quite stiff. And his other gimmick is, very similar actually. If you pull on the ears, it should lift the tusks. But the problem is it's very hard to grip it and show you this without popping panels off at the back there, unfortunately. But this isn't the mode you get this for. While it's nice, I think you'll agree the robot mode is a little bit more interesting. See, this is what we all really came to see. He is absolutely stunning in robot mode. If that isn't the best looking toy in this set, then I give up. It's definitely worth waiting for. It was the last one that turned up. I knew it was going to be the last one that turned up because it was the one I wanted the most. Very cool head sculpt there. Really works well in the Ultra Magnus colours. Where the Mammoth was mostly blue, we've got a lot more red and white coming through in this mode. And he's absolutely loaded with weapons. We've got weapons under each fist. We've got missiles in his legs, basically, and they will fire so fast the camera can't even pick it up. He also comes with another gimmick. We can open his chest up, and he's got a matrix inside there, which pops out like so. And he's not finished there because he has this ridiculously huge gun that is formed from the mammoth head and the top of the body. More spring-loaded missiles fired by turning this dial on the top. Those will probably go missing at some point. He can hold it too, and it just looks insanely ridiculous, but very, very cool at the same time. Great figure, this one. So this was the star of the show for me when this was announced, and it didn't disappoint when it turned up. And there we go, here's the last of the bio cards. Very nice piece of artwork there on this one. So there we go, that was all 6 toys that were part of the first year of the subscription service. For me, this was the star of the show, the best display piece of the lot, but this was probably the best actual toy of the lot. Very surprising, but very cool. Then next year, the 6 toys that have been announced are Barricade from Transformers Prime Prowl Mold, Treadshot from the Generations Warpath mould, Thrustinator, which is from, I believe, Dirge Gun from Beast Wars 2. Then we've got Physitron from Fall of Cybertron Roadbuster. I don't think you can ever have enough Iron Fists. We've also got Chrome Dome using the Transformers Prime Wheeljack mould. And then last of all is Rewind, which is from the, I think it's the United, Rumble and Frenzy. Now there is a bonus 7th mystery figure, because they're not doing a Voyager this time. They're all deluxes, although I think the Rewind is a Scout model. So my hunch is that the 7th figure that comes with the 6th figure will be eject in a redeco of that same mould, because the original mould cam is a 2-pack as well, so it will make sense for that to come together. And I think that will be the last one as well. I think Rewind is going to be one of the most sought after of the series, mainly because of his more than meets the eye appearances, and there's not really good Rewind toy out there at the minute. So I think that, and they'll probably hold that till the end as well, because I know last year there were people who didn't stay all the way to the end of the subscription. They got the first few that they wanted, and then they just pulled out after that, so they didn't have to pay for a load of stuff they didn't want. Personally, I would rather just get the complete set, because what's the point of getting half a set? But that's just my take on things. So yeah, that's about it really. That's a complete overview of last year's and this year's subscription services. Hope you've enjoyed having a look at those, and I'll see you again soon. Catch you later. I don't think this thing would look any ropier if it put on a dirty old coat, sat under a bridge and started drinking whiskey out of a brown paper bag.